Here is something true that nobody taught you in school. We have two theories of physics. Both are the most precisely tested, most rigorously verified frameworks in the entire history of science. Both work. Both have passed every experimental test ever designed for them. And they cannot both be right. Because when you try to apply them together, at the same time, to the same problem, the math breaks. Not metaphorically, literally. The equations produce infinities. The numbers stop meaning anything. That is where physics stands in 2026. Not at the fringes of the discipline, at the center of it. What I'm going to walk you through are not gaps we expect to close next year. Some of these problems have been open for 50 years. They don't live at the edge of our knowledge. They live inside our best theories, in the equations we trust most, in the measurements we're most confident about. This isn't about what we almost know. This is about where knowledge actually ends. Let's talk about the first problem, the hierarchy problem. Start with a question that sounds simple. Why is gravity so weak? Not weak in the sense you might think. You can feel it constantly. Weak compared to the other fundamental forces. The electromagnetic force is roughly 10 to the power of 36 times stronger than gravity. That gap is not a small engineering detail. It's an almost incomprehensible disparity between forces that should, by every physical instinct we have, be operating in the same neighborhood. The deeper problem isn't the gap itself. It's that maintaining the gap requires something physicists call fine-tuning. Imagine balancing a pencil on its tip. Not for a moment, but for the entire age of the universe, while quantum corrections constantly nudge it from every direction. To keep the Higgs boson at its observed mass, the underlying parameters of physics have to cancel each other out to a degree of precision that feels, frankly, unreasonable. The leading solution was supersymmetry, a mathematical framework that would make the cancellation natural, almost inevitable. The Large Hadron Collider was partly built to find evidence of it. So far, nothing. Physicists haven't abandoned the search, but they haven't found the answer yet. Let's talk about the second problem in the list. That is known as the cosmological constant problem. Quantum field theory, our best description of particles and forces, tells us that empty space is not empty. It's filled with fluctuating energy, a constant fizzing of virtual particles at every point in the vacuum. It also predicts how much of that energy there should be. And when you run the calculation, using our best, most trusted equations, the number comes out roughly 10 to the power of 120 times larger than what we actually observe. That is the largest discrepancy between a theoretical prediction and a measured reality in the entire history of science. Not by a little, by 120 orders of magnitude. If you predicted the width of a room to be 1 meter, and the room turned out to be larger than the observable universe, you wouldn't just be wrong. You'd be wrong in a way that suggests you misunderstood something fundamental about the question. One proposed response is the anthropic principle. We observe the value we do because only a universe with that value could contain observers at all. It's a serious idea. It's also one that makes many physicists deeply uncomfortable, because it may be, by definition, untestable. Let's talk about the third problem in the list, called the quantum gravity problem. General relativity describes gravity as the curvature of spacetime, smooth, continuous, deterministic. It governs planets, black holes, the large-scale structure of the cosmos. It has been tested relentlessly and has never failed. Quantum mechanics describes matter and energy at the smallest scales, probabilistic, discrete, governed by uncertainty. It has also been tested relentlessly. It has also never failed. The problem appears at the extremes, inside black holes, at the first instant of the Big Bang, where both frameworks must apply simultaneously. When you try to combine them, the math doesn't disagree. It collapses. The equations produce infinities where there should be answers. String theory proposes that fundamental particles are actually tiny vibrating strings, and that additional dimensions resolve the incompatibility. Loop quantum gravity proposes that space-time itself is not smooth, but discrete, made of finite, irreducible chunks. Both are serious research programs. Both have serious adherents. Neither has been experimentally confirmed. And they make predictions that are, in some cases, mutually exclusive. We have two maps of reality. They work perfectly within their own borders. At the edges of each map, the territory is blank. Let's jump on the last problem on the list, known as the measurement problem. Here is something quantum mechanics states with mathematical certainty. Before you measure a particle's position, it doesn't have one. It exists in a superposition, a spread of possible states, weighted by probability. The moment you measure it, it has a definite position. The wave function, as physicists call it, collapses. The measurement problem is this. What actually happens during that collapse? What counts as a measurement? Does it require a conscious observer, a detector, any interaction with a sufficiently large system? The equations don't say. The Copenhagen interpretation, the dominant framework for most of the 20th century, essentially instructed physicists not to ask. The formalism works. Use it. Don't probe what happens between measurements. The many worlds interpretation says nothing collapses at all. Every possible outcome occurs in branching, equally real versions of reality. It sounds extreme. It is mathematically rigorous. A significant number of working physicists, including some serious ones, take it as their best current answer. This is not a settled debate with a small dissenting minority. Physicists actively, genuinely disagree, not just about the answer, but about whether the question is physics or philosophy, and whether the distinction matters. The act of observing and the thing being observed may not be cleanly separable. After a century of quantum mechanics, we still don't know what to do with that. 4 problems. 4 places where our best theories reach the edge and stop. What they share isn't a single missing equation. It's something more unsettling. Each one sits at the boundary between 2 frameworks we trust completely. 2 descriptions of reality that should, by now, agree, and don't. We are, right now, in 2026, the first civilization with the precision to state these problems exactly. The instruments exist, the mathematics exists, the questions are written out in full. The answers aren't. And perhaps the most honest thing physics can offer, the thing that took centuries of extraordinary success to earn the right to say, is this: we don't know. Not yet. Possibly not soon. The edge is real, and you're living right up against it. That should stay with you.